This is Speaking of Voice Acting with Chris Takahashi, and with me today is a special guest. She voiced some of the most popular characters in the mod Tales from the Commonwealth, mainly Auction House Patron number 3, but also Audrey, the female ghoul companion. It's Natalie Proudlock.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Not too bad.
Living life.
Just about. I try.
I was joking, but I do appreciate the fact that you voiced that minor role because it really helped complete that section and that quest.
Cool. I can't remember what it was now, to be honest.
It's that one where you're playing a little boy who just like screams out 500, 600. Oh, yeah, you're like a auction house.
I wasn't sure if you'd used that or not.
Oh, no, I did use that. But cool. I've had instances before where I've asked actors, I've had them do like longer roles, and then I've said, hey, could you also maybe do this? I'm having a lot of trouble casting, and they're like, no, I only do companions and things of that
featured roles.
Yes, featured. I want my name on the marquee.
Yeah, no, I have no such pretensions.
But no, really, that was really great of you to do. But in addition to your earth-shattering role as Auction House Patron, you also did another featured role, and that would be Audrey from Tales from the Commonwealth, one of the most popular companions and hard-to-cast companions. I think, go through like 100 auditions before.
Oh, really? Yours. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun, yeah. I mean, when I sent the audition, you mentioned at the time that it was a bit different from a lot of the other ones that you'd got because I did that kind of croaky thing rather than the standard ghoul voice. And that was mainly just because I can't do that really. That kind of Marge Simpson like, no. I just can't do it.
That was definitely a mistake for me to ask you to do the gravel. Because if you think about the number of lines, it would have been mental and physical abuse probably.
Yeah, I mean, even the kind of voice that I ended up using was hard to sustain for a long time. And then at one point you asked me to sing and I was like, oh yeah. How am I going to do that? But no, it was cool.
Yeah, it was literal torture. It may have violated the Geneva Conventions, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure how much my pitch varied when I was singing, but yeah, I think we just about got away with it.
No, I think it worked. It worked. It was on key.
Ish.
Was that the first role that you voice acted for, or have you done other work for mods or anything else?
No, that was the first kind of character acting that I've done. I'd done a couple of voice acting things, but just kind of very dull kind of corporate stuff or like IVR type things, press 1 for blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it was good. I definitely want to do more of it.
How did you get into voice acting or acting in general?
Well, I got into it quite late. It's only sort of been the last few years. And I think it was one of those things that I always had an interest in and I always wanted to do, but it never occurred to me that it was a realistic thing to pursue. Or, I was just kind of like, yeah, no, I need to get a proper job. But then I ended up kind of doing work that sort of was in the periphery. So I went to film school because I didn't want to get I didn't want to get a proper degree. I didn't want to do a proper subject. So I was like, I'm going to go to film school. That seems fun. And it was, but it was a lot of work. And then I worked as a camera assistant for a couple of years.
Was the idea going to film school to do acting work, or was it like to make films, or?
Yeah, to make films. So on the other side of the camera. Oh. So I focused on cinematography, and I was doing okay. Like when I graduated, I worked for a couple of years as a camera assistant, not on anything exciting, but I did like a couple of commercials, and I did lots of music videos for really bad hip-hop acts that I can't remember now. But yeah, kind of after a while, I sort of, admitted to myself that I'd rather be doing what the actors were doing.
Oh, okay. So you sort of transitioned to, you're just like, oh, that looks nice over there. It was like the grass is green on the other side kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think it really deep down, I knew that that was what I wanted to do, but I didn't kind of allow myself to pursue it until I'd done a bunch of other things first. So yeah, after that, I went to drama school and all that jazz.
Because I was imagining that you were like behind the camera watching this actor like mess up your script, and you just said, "Fuck this, get out of the way, I'm gonna do this." But no, that wasn't how it went down.
No.
You didn't push the hip hop artist out of the way and jump in and drop a verse.
No, that's hip hop is not my forte.
Because I was gonna say maybe we should have had Audrey spit bars instead of sing these old timey songs.
Maybe, yeah, we should do that. You should release an album with all the NPCs.
So you went to drama school?
Yeah, so I went to drama school. That was, I guess, like five years ago now.
Oh, okay.
And then when I left, it's tricky. I've kind of been doing bits and bobs, just kind of gradually plugging away in the hope that I will get a decent job at some point that will allow me to give up the day job.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
The drama school focus, is that more like theater acting, film acting, or is it like any kind of voiceover stuff in particular?
We did lots of work on voice, but drama schools in Britain at least are all very, very theatre focused. It's still quite old fashioned in that way.
Shakespearean plays and things of that nature.
Yeah, we did Shakespeare and, kind of all the classics. But yeah, it is very theatre focused. But I think a lot of those skills are transferable, especially to voiceover, because you've got to train your voice in theatre, obviously, to project in a big space to people sitting up in the nosebleeds. But yeah, they don't really do any screen work whatsoever, which I think that's starting to change now because, most people when they graduate, that's where they get their first jobs, is on TV or commercials or whatever.
And theater, you have to use your imagination a lot too, I imagine, so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends on the production, kind of, if they're going for minimal set design, you definitely do.
So when you started voicing for mods and things, is that more of just your interest converging? Like you played a lot of video games, you did a lot of acting, and so it kind of made sense to just audition for one?
Yeah, well, in the case of your mod, it was kind of an accident, really. Like, I think
like getting bit by a radioactive acting spider or something. It's just like a weird origin story.
Like that. Yeah. So basically, what happened was, I think I was playing through Skyrim at the time, and I'd installed a crap load of mods, and interesting NPCs was one of them. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember if I was stuck or I was looking for a particular NPC or something, but I ended up checking out your website, and then I noticed there was a section on there for casting calls. So I was like, I'll have a look at that. And that's something I might be interested in. And then I saw the notice for Audrey, so yeah. The rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, and that, like I was saying earlier, that was up there for like, I think a year.
Oh, really?
I was like this close to make. I'm doing a little gesture where I have my fingers really close together. I was this close to making her a human with an English accent or something like that when you auditioned. But thankfully, I really liked the voice. You're able to do the whole transatlantic accent thing, which is really cool, which is really rare.
Yeah, I think that worked out in my favor, because doing a kind of a stronger American accent, I'm not sure I would have pulled it off, or at least not without practicing, because I used to do that kind of stuff all the time, practicing accents and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I was rusty at the time, so yeah, I think if I'd had to do, especially kind of, like a Boston accent or something, that would have probably been pretty dodgy.
You want to try your Boston accent right now?
Oh, God, what, like park the car in Harvard Yard?
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no.
But that's the good thing, because like you're able to do it without making it sound like a parody. I think that's something that people have difficulty with that accent, because it can be a bit cartoonish at times, but like Audrey isn't that type of character, so worked out great.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I mean, I do enjoy me a bit of Katharine Hepburn, and although I think she was maybe a bit more Joan Crawford, attitude-wise.
If we are going to pick a Hepburn, it would definitely be Katharine rather than Audrey. The only reason she has the name Audrey is because Katharine is too normal a name, and Hepburn would be too on the nose. If we called her Hepburn, it would...
Yeah, definitely.
It would probably be mean because, she's a ghoul and we don't want to have the word burn in there. So,
Right, yeah.
But, I mean, so that's kind of like a bit of a misnomer. She's not an Audrey Hepburn. She's more of a cat. But Joan Crawford, yeah, that's another good one. I think she's more of like an amalgamation of all those starlets from the Golden Age or Silver Age. I'm not sure which age it is. But
yeah, I think so.
Lauren Bacall, Ingrid Bergman.
Yeah, definitely. And because they all kind of had that slightly transatlantic accent back then.
And they all have that sort of style and class that you would associate with this character. On that note, did you do any research or watch any old films?
Not really. I mean, I was already quite a big Katharine Hepburn fan.
Oh, you are.
And I went through a phase especially when I was at film school. Obviously, we watched a lot of films. But I went through a phase of watching a lot of those kind of 30s and 40s
you were
classics.
A film hipster, more or less.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's what you have to do at film school. And then you have to, write a load of bullshit about it. And yeah. I did okay at film school, but it was kind of 50-50 with theory and practical stuff, and hardly anyone cared about the theory side of it. So, I was very much a kind of, last minute essay writer.
Yeah, me too. But in general, it does help to have access to those classics. For me, on my side, it did help that we have like YouTube clips of,
right,
so I don't have to watch the whole film. I could get the gist of the characters just by watching, because I cannot sit through like those old movies.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I don't know. They have I think they have a certain charm anyway. Some of them.
Yeah, they do. They do. But the point is, you're able to watch those things, and that's really the essence of it. You can take bits and pieces of various characters and then just put your own spin on it, more or less, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just making an excuse for my own laziness here, but I think maybe it helped that I didn't kind of go back and review all of those old films, because I think you don't want to, I don't know, you want it to, all of those influences to be kind of subconscious. So I think, I'd seen plenty of that stuff in the past, so it had lots of time to all kind of...
It feels familiar without it being an impersonation, so it's more of a part of you.
Exactly. Yeah. It all had time to just kind of absorb into my brain and come out as something else.
And the thing is, you mentioned that maybe it was laziness, but that is not the impression I got. When you first started, you gave me like 3 or 4 different takes for every line.
Yeah.
And that was really, really good. Like, you were really detailed. I was really surprised at how detailed you were. But at the same time, that takes a lot of time and effort. So I think what we ended up doing is we ended up just doing Skype calls and having you read lines. And then I would tell you immediately, if something was amiss and if it needed to be retaken.
Yeah.
But I think we were able to move through a lot of the lines quicker that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, that doesn't mean it wasn't without issues. You had like a roommate, from what I remember, that would just stomp around at all hours of the night.
Yep. Oh, she was the bane of my life.
So my question is, are you still living together?
We are not. No, like she moved out.
You have separated.
Yeah. She moved out, I don't know, but like I moved out of that place a few months back, and she moved out a few months before that. And then I took over her room. So I was the upstairs flatmate then, which is obviously so much better. I don't know what people do. Like, the place I'm in now, we've got a flat above us, and one of the guys was like mashing potatoes or something, and it sounded like he was renovating his kitchen. It's just,
He just happens to use a chainsaw
yeah,
to
I was
his
like,
cooking.
what the hell does he mash his potatoes with? But yeah, being a downstairs flatmate is a living hell at times.
So I guess the question is, when you have to like choose a living space or do things like that, are you now sort of taking into account the surroundings or the recording surroundings? Do you look at apartments like studios almost now?
Well, I would. I mean, the place that I moved into now, I didn't really have that long to look. I live in London, which, you know, big city, and the rental market is crazy and landlords are ruthless. So when I moved into this place, I didn't really have that long to look for somewhere. So I kind of looked at a few places, you know, within my budget. And then the place that I ended up moving into, I came and had a look, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's a decent sized room. The rent's reasonable. It seems cool. It's not in a area that seems particularly stabby. You know, so I thought this would be fine. And then I came back the following week just to kind of meet my other would-be flatmates and, you know, have a drink and a chat and just make sure we would all get along. And it seemed fine, you know, no problems. But it wasn't until I actually moved in that I realized, you know, you start to notice things.
Okay.
So I noticed that there's no double glazing, so you can hear the noise from outside a lot more. And also, we're not that far from a hospital, so we get sirens.
But on the bright side, if you get stabbed, it's a short trip.
Exactly. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road. Well, you're not going to be doing that if you get stabbed, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so there was that, and we're also not that far from a train line. So not the ideal situation for recording, but yeah, I'm making do. I have a lot of acoustic foam tiles all over the walls. So I'm going to have to paint when I do eventually move out.
And also you have a roommate who's less stompy.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the guys upstairs are a little bit stompy, and, you know, they do mash potatoes very loudly. But apart from that, it's not too bad.
So, advice to any would-be voice actors looking for a living space. Try and get the upstairs.
Yep.
Make sure to ask your potential roommates whether they like potatoes or not and how they mash them.
Yep.
And most important of all, have them stomp their feet a few times and, you know, check the decibel level on
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just about workable. Although I do have to record in the middle of the night, usually, just because during the day there's too much going on. Although not on Friday, Saturday, because you get more sirens, all the drunks falling over.
That could be a feature. But speaking of doing recordings, you not only do voice acting, but you also have a YouTube channel.
Yeah. I started that, I don't know, I guess about a year and a half ago. I did have to have a bit of a break, though, when I moved, and until I figured out how to block out all the sirens and trains and mashed potatoes. But yeah, so I've kind of just started putting out videos again. But yeah, it's going okay. It's a fun little hobby.
And it's youtube.com/left-hand-shake.
Left-hand-shake, yeah, all one word. So I don't know, people ask me where I got that name from. I don't really know, it just kind of popped into my head.
Are you left-handed? Yeah.
I am left-handed. But apart from that, just something I pulled out of my ass. But yeah. So it's a fun hobby. I mean, you know, you do it as well, you know, I'm sure.
Yeah. What was the genesis of that?
I'd wanted to do it for ages before I actually started, like probably a couple of years, and just never got round to it. I mean, I didn't have the PC for it to begin with.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, when I finally built a decent gaming PC, one that could handle recording as well, I thought, might as well give it a whirl. And I used to, the only things I really watched, I didn't watch a ton of Let's Plays, but I watched a a couple of Skyrim ones. That was what got me playing Skyrim again. And, you know, in a roundabout way, got me into voice acting for mods. But yeah, so everything's, you know, it's all connected, Chris. It's all connected.
Time is a flat circle.
But yeah, it was one of those things that I'd kind of wanted to do for a long time. And then when I eventually had the means to do it, I was kind of, when I put my first video out, I was really nervous about it. But yeah, it was fine.
But now you're just a pro. You're just pumping them out really easy.
Well, I just finished. I was doing Fallout 4 series. I was playing through Far Harbor, and then that's been going like since I started the channel. It's what I started with, and it's had so many breaks because of various problems, and also I think I just got a bit burnt out of playing Fallout 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I kept on having these problems, and my game had been modded to buggery, you know, because I started the playthrough I started the series in the middle of a playthrough, and then when Far Harbor came out, I was like, I might as well just play through this for the channel. But by then, you know, I installed mods, removed mods, so the save was probably already a mess. So by the end of recording the series, you know, I was just getting crashes and weird stuff happening, so it was becoming a bit of a chore to record. But I just finished it, so the final one's going to be out at the end of the week.
Nice,
so
nice.
got through it.
Nice. Have you ever played Fallout 4 and brought Audrey along? Or is that too weird?
I haven't. I don't think I could, because I'd probably just be, every time she said something, I'd probably just be going, should have done that differently.
Yeah, I think there's two ways people go. Some people, I mean, they love it. You know, they always take themselves everywhere. And there's other people who are just like, oh, it's too weird. It gets a little bit nitpicky where you're just, I want to redo this line, I want to redo that line. So you fall into that.
I think I would be in the second camp. I would just be constantly picking apart my performance.
We don't want any of those criticisms to be made public. As far as people know, you did wonderful on the first try. No, and you probably did. I mean, people sometimes, I don't know if it's the same with you, but people sometimes kind of just have a natural tendency when they go back and look at things to want to do it differently, even though it's just fine like the way it was, or maybe even better the way it was. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a natural tendency. It's weird.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've caught myself doing it with the YouTube stuff. Like, I mean, when I'm doing a Let's Play, it's spontaneous most of the time, apart from when Fallout 4 crashes and I have to redo a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, most of the time it's spontaneous. But when I've done other videos where I've pre-recorded, I don't really script things, but, you know, I'll plan out if it's a tutorial or something. I'll plan out what I'm going to say. And then, you know, it's like sometimes I'll just redo bits forever. And then when I'm editing it, I'm just like, why did I redo that another 5 times? That was fine.
Yeah. Is that why you probably don't want to do like a live stream or anything like that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, people keep saying to me I should get into streaming more because, you know, that does seem to be the new thing to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I kind of enjoy the editing process.
Yeah.
And also I get to edit out all my
that's the main
derps.
For me.
All my I don't edit out all of my deaths, but if I do something particularly stupid, then I can get rid of it.
Oh, you said deaths. I thought you said derps because that's
Oh, I did. I said derps the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I can edit out the derps and the deaths.
No, because like I totally feel you on the derps because I always like fumble my words all the time. So I need to go back and edit things. Like I guess the advantage of a live stream is you get that interaction, direct interaction. But even then, there's a time delay, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the delay can be very small, but I think if you don't have much of a delay, then that's a bit of a risk if someone wants to cause trouble. But yeah, so there's a bit of a delay. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how much, aside from the interaction, I'm not sure how much my kind of videos would benefit from being done live, because I mean, I'm the first to admit I'm not the world's most skilled player, you know. So I think, yeah, I think my videos tend to benefit from cutting out some of the crap. Like, I don't play games fast. I could never be a speedrunner. You know, I just kind of, I stop and smell the flowers a lot. So, you know, people don't need to see every second of that.
True. Although maybe that time is used for conversation. I don't know. Maybe they tell a story.
Yeah. I don't know. Just there's something about streaming that kind of, maybe I'm just too scared that people are going to make fun of me.
No, you'll be fine.
No.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that I've kind of, you know, thought, maybe I should give it more of a go. I've done one stream, and it went fine, and, you know, some people actually watched it, but, yeah, I don't know, maybe.
It's not drawing you in the way voice acting or acting was drawing you in when you're doing camera work, is what you're saying.
Exactly, yeah.
You haven't moved on to that next phase yet.
No.
Going back to acting, is there any particular type of role that you would like to do in the future?
I don't know. There's not a particular kind of role that I'm really sort of coveting.
Just a good one.
Yeah, something good. Like, especially when you're starting, you know, you look at these casting websites, especially if you don't have an agent, even if you do have an agent, and just there's so much bad writing out there.
You're looking for something with a little more depth than Auction House Patron number 3, I guess.
Yeah, but just, you know, so many of these casting calls you see, like, the writing's really bad, or one thing I did find at film school was that what they didn't really teach us was how to work with actors. I mean, maybe that was just the school that I went to. I don't know, maybe it's changed over the years, but they didn't really, that was kind of an afterthought, or not even a thought. They just didn't really teach you how to do that. And it's so important.
Do you mean working with actors on set or on stage, or off, like working with personalities in that sense?
Either. Like, they don't teach you anything about working with actors. So, you know, you get these young directors that they don't know how actors work. They don't understand how to get what they want from them, and how to get the best performance, or, you know, just even how to treat them with some basic freaking decency. You know, so many of them just treat actors like, I blame Hitchcock in that whole actors are cattle comment. It's all his fault.
Is it worse in the mod community, you think, or better? Because I would think that there would be a little bit more appreciation for the fact that you're doing this stuff for free, right? Like, because the amount of work and the amount of gratitude don't compare. And I don't know if I'm guilty of this as well. I probably am on occasion. But sometimes if you act like entitled, or you don't treat people with respect, they have nothing holding them to the job. They could just walk away.
Yeah. I mean, working with you, I always found great. And, you know, I wasn't always great about getting lines to you in a timely fashion, and you were
No, you were fine.
Endlessly patient with that. But, you know, as far as other modders go, I'm not sure, but I suspect that for the most part, mod authors are a bit better to deal with. I think what you get with, I don't want to just slag off film students, you know, I was one, but you get with a lot of them, you know, they think they're going to be the next big thing. You know, you get a lot of egos, which, you know, you get in the modding community as well, but I think it's maybe not quite on the same level, you know, and at least, well, in your case, you know, like you said, you appreciate that the actors are putting in all this time.
Right.
Whereas, you know, like I found sometimes on student films, they can act as if they're doing you a favor. It's like, oh, hey, come and work on my really terrible film for free. It'll be exposure. We're gonna take it to festivals. It's like,
you're gonna be famous.
Right. Yeah.
Just ride my coattails.
Exactly. So yeah, I think, you know, there's less of that in the modding community, in my experience at least.
Smaller coattails on us mod authors.
Yeah.
But yeah, so does that like sort of kind of made you, like, shooed you away from that experience of, like, wanting to work on student films and things of that? Or are you still open to doing more of those? Or
I mean, I'm still open to it, and I kind of have to be because I'm not in a position where I can really pick and choose that much. But I mean, I think you can tell a lot from those casting breakdowns. Like, you know, some of them it's ridiculous. And not just for student films, for other voiceover work as well. Like, I was looking on some casting website, and I think it was an audio book that they wanted read. Mm-hmm. And it was 35,000 words. And they said, you know, it should be about 3 hours of recording. Like in one go, you know, it would be a 3 hour long listen. Not it would take you 3 hours to do it. Although they probably thought it was. But yeah, so it was, you know, like it was going to be a 3 hour audiobook. And they wanted it done within 4 days of you getting the job.
Wow.
And they were paying like $150 or something. It's like, come on.
And that's strange because I would think it'd be the opposite, where they would like want to be in the room with you and like direct every word and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, you would think, but yeah, so I scrolled right on past that one. But yeah, it's difficult, you know, trying to find the quality jobs.
That is true. There's a lot of crap out there.
When you have zero clout in the industry.
That's what we need to get you, more clout, you know.
Yes.
The whole purpose
Give me clout,
of this
Chris.
interview.
I need clout.
Plus 100 clout for Natalie.
Yay.
Just based on this interview. Maybe one of our 11 listeners actually has connections in the industry.
You never know. You never know.
Well, actually 10, because one of them is probably my mom, so maybe the other 10 listeners.
Well, if she's ever had an ambition of making a short film, then tell her to call me.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll check with that. Mom, if you ever want to make a short film, Natalie is your girl.
Yep.
Or your woman.
Hit me up.
And hit her up on days when, you know, maybe her roommates aren't mashing potatoes. Or
Yeah.
Is there a day to eat potatoes? Is there a day that they specify, or is it just random?
I don't know. I don't remember what day the really vigorous mashing happened on. But, I mean, I don't know. If they're anything like me, every day is a good day for potatoes.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to share that we don't know about you? Dark secrets.
Dark secrets.
Hobbies that might surprise us.
Let's see. I found that since I started doing the YouTube thing, a lot of my other hobbies have kind of fallen by the wayside. I just signed up to do a half marathon later this year.
Oh wow!
So,
why?
Yeah, like I used to do the old exercise, but not so much. So this was kind of a way of giving myself a deadline to get off my arse, because I'm way too lazy and bad at time management.
I'm beginning to think you aren't lazy at all.
I really am.
I'm so lazy.
Honestly.
I'm running this marathon, and I just...
I'm super lazy. You should see what I look like right now. I didn't get dressed today. I had a day off work. I slept through a lot of it. So this is why I don't do face cam on my channel.
I think you should more interactivity.
Yeah. I saw this is a new revelation to me, but I've seen a couple of these channels that do face rig. So they'll have like a little cartoon character or something. And then, you know, they've got like a webcam that I guess is kind of like, they kind of have points that are like mapped to your face. So it'll animate this little character. I mean, it doesn't work amazingly well, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm certainly not showing my face, but if I had like an animated character that I could use, then yeah.
Yeah.
And just gave her a cute little voice, I could probably have somebody voice it. Maybe you'd want to voice it for me.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I would consider that. Although I did see there was one, I can't remember the name of his channel now, but it was one Twitch streamer who was quite famous for having like a dog avatar. And it like glitched out on him and showed his real face. I don't think he was very happy about that. So there's always that danger that you'll be unmasked.
Yeah. We don't want that to happen on my stream because that would be a form of torture again. But some people like torture. Some people like running marathons, doing ghoul voices. Man,
I'm probably going to regret it. I hate running. I'm not built for long distance running either. I'm short, so probably just a terrible idea. But yeah,
take up a sport. At least there's like a game aspect to it that makes it fun. Where if you're just running, you're just running. You're like a hamster on a wheel.
Yeah, like I couldn't be one of those people that just goes to the gym and plods along mindlessly on a machine. I need something that keeps me engaged.
You did tell me that you were doing like a martial arts class for acting at one point.
Yeah, I did a stage combat course. So there's, like in the UK, there are official organizations that you can get certificates from. So it's good to have on your resume, and it was a lot of fun. Like I just did the level 1, so I might go back at some point and do the others. So we got to do some sword fighting and all that. It was pretty cool.
I think that would be fun to learn, just different kinds of stage combat. And you could do that special move that's in every movie where they twist somebody's neck and then he falls to the ground.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's like it takes a lot of practice to kind of get that stuff down convincingly. And like I used to do martial arts when I was a kid, and a lot of it is, in some ways that helps because, if you throw a kick or a punch, you look like you know how to throw a decent kick or a punch. But there are other things that are really counterintuitive. Like if you're doing like a fist fight, you've got to make sure that you present a target to the person you're fighting, whereas normally you would kind of be a little bit sideways. So, if you get what I mean. So yeah, there's things like that are kind of counterintuitive. But yeah, it's fun.
In some ways, you're trying to get hit at times as opposed to trying to like dodge.
Yeah, exactly. You're making it easy for the other person to aim at you.
Just draw a big red target on your chest or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, see, there's lots of fun ways that can sort of incorporate and converge your basic interests in the same way voice acting and video games did. So I think that would be my advice, is to not run a marathon unless you're planning on voicing a marathon runner or something. Then it'd be method acting. Yeah.
Well, it might increase my lung capacity.
Oh.
Yeah, that might help.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Only just thought of that.
Put it on your resume when you do your next audition.
I have a lung capacity of 2.5 liters. I don't know if that's good or bad. I just made up a number.
Yeah. No, but it sounded very official and good. So if I was like the casting director, I'd be like, wow, I don't know what that means, but wow.
Yeah. See, this is the key. You can say any old shit you want with enough confidence and someone will believe it. So that's my acting advice, everyone.
That's why you have, or are going to have, so much clout, I think. So
yes, it's all about the clout.
Yeah, but all in all, I'm glad that while your clout level was at a more manageable level, because it's about to overflow, that you're able to sit down and do this interview. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So that's it for this episode of Speaking of Voice Acting. I want to thank my guest Natalie Proudlock again for coming on. And check her out in Tales of the Commonwealth and also the Fallout 3 mod bundle I have on 3dnpc.com. You get a lot more Audrey in that mod as well. And check her out streaming on youtube.com/lefthandshake. And also, if you like what she does, donate to her Patreon at patreon.com/lefthandshake. And as always, like and subscribe. All right. Talk to you guys next week.